What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are checking out exploring the SCP Foundation, Marshall, Carter and Dark Limited. So this is something I've been quite interested in for a while, just because I heard about what they do in one of the other videos, and they're kind of like a heist experts from what I gather. You know, they can steal SCPs, you pay them, they get you what you want. Probably don't do fair deals, but you know, they sound pretty damn cool, man. They sound pretty interesting, and a lot of you guys have been requesting that I check out all of the organizations within the SCP universe, which I guess is a good base knowledge, right? If once you know about all the organizations. Yeah, we're gonna check out Marshall, Carter, Dark Limited today. Be sure to get your suggestions in down below. What do you want to see me react to? Also, let me know what your favorite foundation is. Like, what is your favorite organization in the SCP universe? I mean, for me right now, it's the SCP Foundation, but I haven't actually learned about them all, of course, so that's probably a bit biased. But anyway, we're gonna get into this video. Be sure to subscribe. When we get to 1,000 subs, the special 1 hour video on the top 22 scariest SCPs will be coming out, so be sure to subscribe. And yeah, we're gonna get into this. Follow me on Twitch, join our Discord, let's go.
Marshall, Carter and Dark Limited.
New York, London, Hong Kong.
If you've been following this series up to this point, you've learned about a number of different groups and organizations within the SCP universe. There's the SCP Foundation itself, of course, and their goal of containing and researching the anomalous in order to protect the status quo.
Oh, I done Serpent's Hand
There's
as
the
well.
Global Occult Coalition, who share similar goals to the Foundation, but care less about containing anomalies if they threaten the safety of mankind. There's also the Church of the Broken God and the Sarkic cults, who blend the anomalous with religion as part of a vast war for the sake of the planet. But now we get to Marshall, Carter, and Dark, who utilize anomalies not for altruism or some grand goal, but simply for profit.
Makes sense.
Much like anything perceived to be rare and valuable, there are those who would profiteer off of it, and anomalies are no different. MC&D have been involved in a large number of anomalous objects known to the Foundation, so this video will go over their basic history and some of the notable examples. So, a big question might be, who exactly are Marshall, Carter, and Dark?
You know what's funny? There's two names and then just Dark. Is that just the guy's nickname or some shit? Because Marshall, Carter, Dark, like when you see firms, like a lot of loyal firms do it, right? When they have stuff like that with their names in it, but it's usually their surname, right? Is the guy's surname actually Dark? Like what?
Individuals who presumably founded the organization.
Yep.
Once again, the lack of canon rears its head, and the three individuals are hardly public figures, so it's not an easy
it would
question
make sense
to answer.
That they won't.
The Wills and Ways series of tales presents them as Amos Marshall, Ruprecht Carter, and Percival Dark.
Okay, so his name
and
is
they've
Dark.
extended their lives anomalously by decades at least. It's occasionally referenced in a few tales and articles that Dark is the true founder of the organization, and is far older and more mysterious than the other two. Although, again, this is not necessarily true.
On my shirt, dude.
SCP-2463 and the accompanying documentation discuss 6 small bronze horse statuettes that have the capability of converting any water from a natural source into petroleum. These statuettes apparently originate from the 3rd century, when Roman Emperor Valerian, while captured by the Persians, contacted an individual known as D. Mercator, implied to be Dark, and asked for something that would utterly destroy his enemies. D. Mercator contacted one of his sources, who supplied the 6 statuettes, but Valerian died before he could utilize them. Mercator wrote a letter to Valerian's son, the current emperor, informing him of his father's business deal, and telling him that the statuettes will be held by Mercator's organization unless he could pay a sum of 60 million gold coins.
Jesus.
An exorbitant amount. The documentation shows that this amount was never paid, and so the statuettes were sold and repurchased a number of times to different individuals, such as one of the founders of Baghdad, before being eventually confiscated by the SCP Foundation. Regardless of how Marshall, Carter, and Dark came together, they've certainly been doing this for some time now, and they've managed to keep their identities and operations pretty secretive. But what are their operations? As 2463 showcased, MC&D buy, find, or otherwise acquire certain strange and unusual objects, mainly those that the SCP Foundation would classify as safe, and then proceed to sell them, often at auctions to the highest bidders. They don't especially care too much about who they sell these objects to, as long as they're rich and powerful, although there are certain exceptions to who they'll sell to.
Makes sense. You know, that reminds me of the auction for dinosaurs in was it Jurassic World 2, where they're auctioning off dinosaurs. Kind of a shit movie, but still a little bit reminds me of that. It sounds to me like Dark is just a con man, you know? A little bit. With a lot of connections.
Documentation for 2463 shows MC&D bidding on one of their own items to prevent the Mana Charitable Foundation from purchasing it, as they likely wanted to take it out of circulation. The MCF is an organization that uses anomalies to try and benefit the world. The Serpent's Hand present a much larger threat to their operations, however, a group devoted to spreading awareness of the anomalous and taking down the veil of secrecy. Although organizations such as the Foundation and the GOC are opposed to MC&D's operations, they can't quite compete with their level of economic power, and ultimately there are better ways for them to spend their time and efforts. Although MC&D possess a vast amount of wealth and control, and could easily plunge the world into thermonuclear war, they choose to use this power to simply gain more wealth. It's said that around 100 people specifically work for MC&D at any given time, running a highly efficient operation. But they will occasionally outsource some work to other organizations if necessary. They acquire their products through various means, primarily from purchasing items directly from anomalous creators, such as Dr. Wondertainment and the Factory.
That's a big request, Dr. Wondertainment.
They will also trade with Prometheus Labs and obtain art exhibits from Are We Cool Yet? They then sell these items across the world, and they claim the Chaos Insurgency is one of their biggest clients, a group that uses anomalies for personal benefit, often weaponizing them.
Ooh.
Let's discuss some of the interactions that MC&D have had with the SCP Foundation, to give you perhaps a better idea about the group, although keeping in mind these documents are written from the Foundation's perspective.
Biased.
As mentioned, most of the items that MC&D deal with are considered safe by the Foundation.
I mean, obviously, like, the Foundation are probably the best at containing SCPs, and they struggle to contain some of these SCPs, right? Think about some of the ones we've read to. There is no way that MC&D could, try and kidnap the Shy Guy or Abel or anything like that, because those guys are just too unpredictable and dangerous. Even if the money was right, it's just not a feat that you could do because you can't control them. It's just not worth it, is it? The safe ones are a lot easier because they're not going to harm you. You could probably walk in and take them, right? You know, so it's not too much hassle, right?
But that does not mean they're harmless, and the group generally cares little for ethical concerns.
Obviously.
SCP-604, the Cannibal's Banquet, is one of the more grotesque examples. This SCP is a set of tableware, dishes, and glasses that, when an edible substance, primarily animal matter, is placed on or in them, turns into human flesh or bodily fluids.
Oh!
The transformation will be the closest approximation between the two, so fleshy steaks will become cuts from a human thigh, and red wine will turn into human blood.
That's fucked up.
These transformations are limited to the size of the dish, so most people...
Why on hell's earth would you want that? Unless maybe you're trying to get revenge on, a bunch of people that wronged you. You know, you bring out steaks and you put them on the... I guess, but, at the same time, waste all that money for the war. What?
Pieces will transform into an infantile equivalent.
Oh.
Such as chicken wings becoming tiny, burnt infant arms.
Oh.
Placing items vertically on the dishes does allow for larger growths, such as placing a snake upright on a dish, and it turning into a human throat and mouth. Marshall, Carter, and Dark acquired the item from a secluded monastery that was using it to practice the rites of communion, believing it to be the body and blood of Jesus Christ.
Of course they did.
After MC&D acquired it, they began using it as an exhibit in a restaurant, offering it to certain members as a chance to safely test the waters of cannibalism. Another trait of SCP-604 is that if any still living material is placed on its surface, it will transform into a moving human body part, such as a starfish turning into a 6-fingered baby's hand that can flex its fingers.
If you want to try out cannibalism, okay, buddy. I mean, I'm not involved, but I guess if you do want to try it, this wouldn't be the worst way to try it, because you're not actually killing anyone.
Phenomena was highly desired by MC&D's clients, and so kittens, puppies, and small monkeys were often used, with continued efforts on their part to create a human head capable of intelligent speech.
To eat.
Another example of their morals, or lack thereof, is SCP-1660, Unearthly Forest. 1660 is a relatively small parallel universe, accessible only by lighting a special decorative lamp and stepping through a gate the smoke produces.
No thanks.
The universe seems to consist of a large forest, surrounded by an extremely durable wall around and below it, and the sky above it seems to contain a layer of highly dangerous gases.
Are you sure this isn't just the Hunger Games? That's what it sounds like. A wall, poisonous gas.
The forest is filled with different flora and fauna, some familiar to our world, such as brown bears and deer, and other things unique to 1660, such as cougar-like creatures capable of echolocation, and some sort of bioluminescent armored cross between a reptile and a mammal, 2 meters in length.
I mean, they do have weird cougar things in the Hunger Games too, so just saying on that. Bears, bro, I just want to say something. Bears are fucking creepy, bro. Like, if there's one animal you do not want to come face to face with, it's a fucking grizzly bear. I mean, a polar bear, even worse, but grizzly bear, man, you do not want to face that. There's a lot of animals, like, even if you come face to face with, like, a lion or a tiger, they're not going to attack you, most likely, if you're looking at them. A grizzly bear does not give a fuck what you're doing. It might just walk straight past you, but it might just come and eat you, bro. It might just, and it will eat you alive too. It won't kill you first, which is a bit deep. I don't know if any of you have seen that video of the man riding his bike and a grizzly bear just chasing him. Oh my god, I would shit my pants, dude.
Creatures possess forepaws, jointed like human hands, and are also sapient, having created simple tools, fire, and their own language. Their cave paintings seem to show images of them being hunted by humans, and then another set of humans that saved them, wearing the SCP Foundation symbol. It seems that MC&D was using 1660 as a hunting grounds for clients, and now the sapient creatures worship the Foundation as their saviors. MC&D aren't always morally bankrupt madmen focused solely on profit, however, as SCP-2501 shows. 2501, the Claw, is a large mechanical gauntlet seemingly created by Russians prior to the 1960s, and its functions are permanently turned on, with no way to alter or disable them. When an individual wears the gauntlet, they are capable of exerting immense pressure on any object within sight, simply by holding the gauntlet in front of them and squeezing the claw so that the object is between it. This pressure is capable of crushing a soup can from a meter away, flattening a tank from 200 meters away.
So, you get the Force, like Star Wars. Oh, shit. Wow, okay, buddy. I mean, the claw, it's a bit disappointing that you'd have to have a whole claw on you, but still you get to use the Force, I guess.
And potentially even crushing asteroids or planets.
Shit.
How MC&D acquired this item is unknown, and they apparently sold or lended it to a few clients before deciding it was simply too dangerous. Rather than risking a wealthy individual try to flatten the sun, they shipped it off to the SCP Foundation for safekeeping. Although there isn't much love between the two groups, they acknowledge that the Foundation are simply better at keeping dangerous things safe and contained.
Fair enough. Self-awareness. I was gonna say, these guys, man, they might be selfish, they might be moralless, but they're not stupid. You know what I mean? That goes for a lot of people like that. If the object is gonna jeopardize your life or their organization, they'll just give it away for sure. I would too.
SCP-2776 is another interesting example of the potential power that MC&D can wield, and their capabilities of affecting history. 2776 is essentially a lifelike automaton resembling George Washington. This robot contains some prosthetic features available in the 1700s, such as glass eyes and false dentures, but also possesses some highly advanced features, such as armored plating and a small fusion reactor. Letters recovered reveal that MC&D created 2776 using the corpse of George Washington, who died while still an officer in the French and Indian War. Apparently, the colonists needed both an inspirational leader as well as more firepower, and so MC&D supplied both with 2776. One of their employees, named Martha, was assigned to maintain the automaton, and he was given an estate away from prying eyes to avoid people discovering his true nature.
So this is saying that MC&D created a robotic or prosthetic version of George Washington. Because he died in the war. So they needed a leader, man. They needed someone to be, I guess, the first president and whatever. So they made this guy, they made him live a private life. His wife, Martha, was actually his caregiver, right? It maintained him so he didn't break down. Okay, boys, okay.
After winning the Revolutionary War, 2776 was put into a standby mode until he was recovered in 2007 by the SCP Foundation. 2776 was not aware of his mechanical nature, and eventually broke containment after watching a television program describing a buyout of an American company by a British company. His core began emitting massive amounts of gamma radiation, and he killed everyone in his path as he moved towards London, until he was recontained.
Jesus.
It's hard to look at Marshall, Carter, and Dark and see them as anything close to good, but it is easy to see them as realistic, at least as far as an SCP universe is concerned. Merchants taking the rare and valuable and finding a profit with them have existed for thousands of years, and it makes sense that anomalies would be no different. While the SCP Foundation and the GOC will continue to raid MC&D facilities and reclaim objects, they don't make a grand effort to wipe them out either.
Fair enough.
Perhaps this is because of instances like SCP-2501, where they know that there are worse groups for anomalies to end up with, and hope MC&D still bring the really dangerous items to them. Or perhaps they realize that going to war with MC&D would be a lot like poking a bear with a stick, and cause quite a bit of trouble for both sides. Either way, MC&D have dealt with the rich and powerful for a very long time, amassing quite a fortune. And as they say, money makes the world go round.
I agree. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Without question, Marshall, Carter, and Dark are one of the most important pieces on the chessboard of the anomalous world, occasionally putting other players into check, but never into mate. For Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the planet is an intricate network they have secured safely beneath their thumb, where winning and losing are meaningless terms. There is no need to move pieces when you can move the board. When you can end the match at any time, there's no reason to continue. It's all about playing the game. Wise words from somebody. I mean, I think that quote sums them up perfectly, because really and truly, they are very important. They're almost untouchable, right? In what they do. But they do, and while they do some shady business by like stealing anomalies or buying anomalies, selling them to rich people, and they'll do anything for profit, really. They do have a tiny bit of moral where it comes in, like, yo, if this can destroy us or put the world in jeopardy, it's better that we, knowing that we can't contain stuff very well, we give it to the SCP Foundation. They'll deal with it, even if we don't have a great working relationship or agree with what each other do. we can coexist. And I think most of the foundations in the SCP universe, they all coexist, right? They all need to coexist. They all kind of feed off each other a little bit, and they all tie in. But yeah, man, very interesting. Marshall, Carter, and Dark. I mean, like, it's annoying that there's no set in stone lore, so we could see the history of them and who the actual three guys are. But anyway, man, thank you all for watching this, man. If you are new, be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. Join our Discord. You can check out more videos in the playlist down below in the description, and I'll see you all next time.